What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, into this video, we're going to be talking about updating you on things going on in the Middle East. Going on, what's been going on with Israel, Gaza, West Bank, Iran, Lebanon, Yemen. We got a whole lot of things going on, so we're going to talk about all those things. But before we do, again, as always, if you like the content here and like what I'm doing, and want to, help in any way, first off, please consider subscribing. That probably tells me more than almost anything. And then like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about the subject, about what we talk about. And if you want to visit my other channels, you got those over here. JMD, my drumming channel, where I've got lots of drum covers. I do reactions to songs and stuff. And then the JMDPLAY is my video game channel, where I stream gaming and stuff like that. Of course, Discord is right there. You can check that out. That's got like levels for each one of those, and like categories that you can discuss and talk about, and community, whatnot. If you want to do a one-time donation, you can go here. Or if you'd like to do the actual subscription, be a patron or whatever for all of it, for all the channels, they're all there. You can check that out. $3 for at the low tier for all of them. And I'm working on JMDPLAY and this channel, ClearTalk, on like the benefits and stuff like that. So I'll probably try to get those done by this weekend. I think I mentioned that in the previous video, but I'm probably going to just keep doing that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about here. So, all right. So to get caught up, I think previously what we talked about was that, we had the, we were having all the attacks continuing on schools and stuff in the Gaza Strip. We had the attacks happening in the West Bank on your, uh, refugee camps and stuff in there. And that, there was a major escalation in the West Bank, as far as what they were using. And of course, we had the human shield issue for Israel. And then worrying about the issue with Iran and how they were going to react to the strikes, the assassinations on the former leader of Hamas, and also one of the high generals of Hezbollah. And so far, Iran has resisted. There's been no attack from them directly or anything. You've had continued escalation between Hezbollah and Israel. You've had the continuation of Israel doing attacks in Gaza. That doesn't stop. That has continued. You have to like safe areas and stuff have continued to be attacked. The safe areas are where they tell Gazans to go, that they'll be safe. They move. They've been probably moving several times, 4, 5, 6, 7, who knows how many times now, and being told that they're safe, and then suddenly, boom, bomb is dropped on them in the safe areas, and people were killed. It's usually like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, people are killed, many hurt. This is ongoing continuously, several, almost on a daily basis. Especially 2 or 3 times a week, we hear about a new instance where they bombed another safe area or whatnot, and they claim, well, there was a Hamas individual in there, Hamas leader in there, or whatever, associated with them. without ever giving any kind of real evidence. Uh, that has continued to happen. You did have the polio effort that was finishing up at the end of last week. That went a lot longer than I think any of them like planned or at best hoped it would. Trying to vaccinate children and stuff from polio all throughout Gaza, which was very difficult. Like 600 plus thousand kids that they were trying to do that to. They were finishing up on that, I think, last week, at the end of last week. Although, from my understanding, it takes two doses of it for it to fully vaccinate and prevent or whatever. So I don't know if there's going to be an attempt for a second dose at some point or not, but that hasn't been stated or not that I've seen anyways. So I don't know if there's just the one attempt and hoping that does enough to maintain it or at least keep it under control. I don't know. But the latest issues that we have had here is that a few days ago you had the Houthis in Yemen. They sent up a what was being said is like a supersonic type of missile penetrated into central Israel, headed for Tel Aviv. It was defective. It was like defended by the Iron Dome. It was a missile defense system. Hit it, but of course this is a massive missile, and parts of it, shrapnel and whatnot, it broke apart, but then of course fell. Everything that goes up must fall down, right? It falls down, does some damage, on the ground. I don't think, as far as I saw reporting, there was nobody hurt. But they said that they had plans for more, that they would continue. Now, this is an escalation from the Houthis, which have been doing their thing. They've been doing the ship thing. This is like this. They've done the drone attacks. And now this, missile attack. And this is all, of course, in response and defense of the whole thing going on in Gaza. And of course, you had Israel, say that they're going to retaliate, and they, or threatening to retaliate. But then the past 2 days, we've had attacks in Lebanon. One was from pagers. Sounds weird, right? But what you had was Hezbollah commanders and whatnot. A few months back, apparently decided that they needed to get away from cell phones, that it was too easy for Israel to do cyber attacks and stuff on their systems, find out and find out plans and whatnot through their those things. So they wanted to get away from the more up to date electronics and go back to a little bit more old school stuff, handwritten, and then also like pagers and walkie talkies and whatnot, communication systems that were offline, and couldn't be activated like that, or couldn't be penetrated through online, like cyber attack. In the order from those, apparently, from my understanding, that come through. I'm wanting to try to get this right. I think that they were. The idea was that those were ordered through. I want to say Pakistan. it was either that it was through one country, but then that country turned around and said that they did the theft through Pakistan, or it was through Pakistan, and Pakistan turned around and said that it was through another country. I can't remember which the order that is, but the point was that they had made the order through one country, and apparently Israel somehow intervened in that shipment and was able to place little miniature, bombs, explosives in those pagers, about 5,000 pagers, before they were delivered to Lebanon. Wild, right? Crazy. And then, of course, now, and I'm assuming that they were set to explode at a certain point or something. I don't think those type of details have really been established, or how it come about, or if there was a way that it could be ignited through a signal, which I'm assuming that's probably what it was. They could send out that's exactly, I guess, what it was. Now that I'm remembering further details that I haven't quite gotten to. So what happened is you had, these 5,000 pagers distributed amongst Hezbollah, leadership and other members and whatnot. And then, let's see, I guess it was Monday. Those were activated. They had, there was an alarm or something that started going off on it, like it was getting a signal or getting some kind of message. It was beeping, and then suddenly they would explode. And they exploded randomly all throughout, all these individuals that had them, which wind up causing, I think on Monday there was like 14 killed from it and like 2,500 injured. And this was citizens, children, all kinds of people were hurt, not just actual, Hezbollah leadership or whatnot. And if that wasn't bad enough, then on Tuesday, walkie-talkies started blowing up with explosives. These walkie-talkies were walkie-talkies that were distributed also amongst Hezbollah groups. So this was a coordinated, like, they apparently were able to, Israel was able to do this through their walkie-talkies, pagers, all this these orders that they made, to try to eliminate from Israel being able to interfere in their plans and all this kind of stuff through the phones, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And these went off and started causing explosions. Altogether, I think there's been 22, something like that, killed between the 2 days. Multiple injuries, thousands of injuries. This has been quite a shock to Hezbollah. Injuries from because they, even with the pagers, the things going off and going wild, and you're they're looking at it like, what the hell is going on with the thing? And then all of a sudden it explodes. So you have a lot of people that were blinded by the explosion, hand injuries. That's mostly, I think, what the injuries were: blindness, hand mutilation. And then walkie-talkies was probably around the similar thing. But this has really been a big quake through Hezbollah. So this is a pretty major escalation. We've already had the U.S. come out claiming that they had nothing to do with it, that they, because there was demands from AOC, Bernie Sanders and stuff for an investigation to be taken in on any U.S. dealings that could have been, if we had any ties into this. So there's the anger disputed through that. Immediately, Bernie Sanders is putting through a bill to prevent arms sales. He can force it through by next week, probably, but it would need 51 votes to, of course, pass. The likelihood of it passing is probably slim to none, but nevertheless, he is making the action. But this is a major escalation. Hezbollah says that they claim that, and one of the main leaders, I think, was also injured in this attack. Like one of the head, if not the head leader of Hezbollah, was injured in this attack. So I think the interim leader, the one that's stepping in for the moment, has stated that nothing will change, that they will continue their, support for Gaza. They will continue, what they have been doing as far as like attacks or whatnot. There's still been continuous, back and forth across the border. That they will continue with their support and will not, this will not stop them, but it can clearly be understood that this was a hell of a this was a hell of an attack on them. But they state that they have like 150,000 missiles directed at Israel. At this point, they've only shot around 15, I think, thousand, somewhere between 15 and 17,000 since October 8th. So 150 is quite a bit more. You have Blinken out there making the, urgent, call to hold back to Israel and to everybody else, do not escalate, as if that has, in the past 10 months, 11 months, done a damn thing to change things. I can't stand Blinken. That dude pisses me off to no end. This is frustrating. And then of course it's, annoying that we still don't have the trying to force them to have a ceasefire didn't work. So now you pretty much have neither one of them at the table. Israel has no interest in getting a ceasefire. You've already had reports that because of the ceasefire, from the leader now of Hamas, Sinwar or whatever, stating that because of that, they will continue, and that they have the ability to continue resisting as long as they want. So they are, they're arming themselves down to go as long as they need to. So at this point, it's looking like there's no end. Unless somebody fucking intervenes and, puts their foot down, like what I've been saying over and over again, that our damn administration needs to do. Because we're pretty much the only ones that it can do it. Frustrations from the UN, frustrations from even some European countries have grown a little bit, have grown more and more. But ultimately, we are staying steadfast in support and not really doing anything. It's shameful. It's ridiculous. this is what this is what Netanyahu has been wanting for years. He has crafted the issues with Gaza, the issues with the West Bank, to instigate, poke, and prod, to force a larger issue along, you know, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Iranian-backed like militias and stuff in Iraq and Syria and Jordan. Um, this is what he wants, because he ultimately wants Iran to lose their shit. That's what he wants. And at this point, so far, Iran has been the adult in the room and continues to hold themselves. But I don't know how much longer that's going to last. I really don't. Although honestly, and there's been, of course, reporting and like uh, talk that they don't. There's not even because of Iran holding back, that that that's just a sign that they aren't even capable. That they're so hurt that they're not capable of doing anything. From whatever the economic strains that they've had from us and whatnot. I wouldn't be too sure about that. But nevertheless, they're holding themselves back. But I think it's because you have, they're not willing to go that far. I mean, they've already had the talks of wanting to get back into some type of nuclear agreement. Now, it doesn't look like that's really gone anywhere from what I've seen. But, I mean, something has to give. At this point, I'm pulling for, I'm pulling for Kamala to win in November, so that hopefully, she actually has a different agenda in mind, as a different direction, a different policy in mind, and can forcibly invoke that before she even gets in office. That's the only thing I like, because once that point happens, then Biden can be considered fully a lame duck, and then she can take force on talks with Netanyahu or whatever. Like, she can then it can be fully on her. Even as vice president, she can take that. She could potentially take that lead. Now, whether that really would happen or not, I don't know. But that's the only thing I could honestly look for helping, because Biden ain't gonna do shit. He has apparently no intention to really do anything. So, anyways, that's from. I think I pretty much covered everything on that. So Gaza has continued. There's nothing changed there. Bombings, people dying. The number is like 41,000 officially. It's probably more or less really more like 50,000 when you add in people that are into the rubble and whatnot, and potentially way even higher than that. When you think about those that may have actually been completely like just obliterated from some of these bombs, evaporated to some degree. There's potential for way higher number actually being dead. The West Bank is still having their issues. They're still enforcing, still doing their raids, still doing. That hasn't changed. And then now we have apparently strategically set explosives that have been set and ready for potentially a couple months now in the hands of Lebanese or Hezbollah officials and members that are now exploding and killing not just them but anyone around them. Because and that's what I had the thought and then I lost it. Because but what also seemed to happen in that was that, and the reason why this was kind of oddly timed because it just seemed to come out of nowhere and it didn't make sense. There was apparently reporting that some Hezbollah, like security, whatever person, cyber person, what I don't know, that apparently detected or had a suspicion with the pagers and was making an attempt to identify this with their leadership, and suddenly he was killed. And then apparently another individual within Hezbollah, I think maybe even potentially associated with this person that was killed, then was trying to go and address this concern with Hezbollah leadership, and Israel felt forced to go ahead with it. Like this was apparently potentially planned for later, but they went ahead and just did it to make sure that something happened with it, from what I understand or can see. So that's the reason why it feels like it's kind of a weird time thing. Like it just come out of nowhere and for really no reason. You know, like it wasn't a response to something per se. But anyways, it's something's got to get. I've lost it. I've completely lost. Like it's like I'm so frustrated and annoyed at the whole situation that I'm at a point where it's like I feel completely drained by it. And it's, you know, it's just for me pathetic at this point that something like this is happening. And it seems like nobody is willing to actually fucking stop it. And I mean, I can't do anything but sit here and talk about it as if that's going to fucking do anything. But I mean, you gotta vote. That's the only thing I can say, I guess. We gotta get out there and vote. And hope that vote makes a change that will then trigger another change that will then trigger another change. Hopefully the right changes. Anyways, let me know what you think of what's going on, about everything we talked about. Anything that you have input, thoughts, what you would like to see happen, whatever. Let me know what you think, and consider again, like I said, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Again, check out the other channels. And yeah, till next time. Peace. Clear Talk.